All right, guys, we are live. So let's do this. Let me just sort the presentation out. Cool. So welcome, first of all. Now, before we go any further, I want to make it clear this is a team effort. So Jade will be, who's one of our amazing team members, will be helping field the questions to me. We want plenty of questions. Now, I've kind of debated on this of how best to make this work. How can we make sure that we cover all the bases, but also give enough depth that you can implement stuff straight away, that you can really get the ball rolling for yourself? So please ask as many questions as you need to. I've got some great questions that have been sent in advance, which I'm going to cover throughout the call. But please send questions. Jade's going to field them, make sure they come to me, make sure that we get the answers that you guys need specifically. And obviously, the more specific we can be, the better. So welcome. The point of today, of us all coming together, is to get you from being the best kept secret to having queues of clients. Every single week, we're talking to amazing practitioners, coaches, healers who are getting amazing results, but they don't have enough clients to really make the big impact. Not only make the big impact, but also to take their message out there. How can you get seen? How can you get visible? How can you have clients coming to you, or prospects coming to you who are super keen, already ready to go? They know who you are, they want to work with you, they're keen, they're ready. And how can you be in control of that? Because it's one thing waiting for the phone to ring and it's another taking control. And that's exactly what we're going to go through today. So how to get you from being the best kept secret to having queues of clients. And I want to be clear that that will mean something different to each of you. For you, having a queue of prospects or a queue of clients might be 10. For you, it might be 50. For you, it might be 100. It might be 1,000. It doesn't matter what it is, so long as it's aligned with you, what you want for your business and the impact that you want to make. That is the only thing that you need to be concerned at. What do you want? Forget any notion of should and tune into what you want, what's right for you. So firstly, I want to reiterate, it's not your fault that you don't know this stuff. You're taught your modality. You're not taught marketing. You're not taught business or anything else. I most definitely wasn't, and found myself drowning very quickly, which is what we're going to kind of go through today. How we began and then what had to change in order for us to get to the level we are today. This is not your fault, but you have the opportunity now to learn these things, to ask a shit ton of questions, and to make sure that you get the answers that you need. So firstly, we'll just get a hello, make sure that the sound's working and everything else. So I'll get Jay to send through if there's everything's working perfect before I start waffling on any further. And just let me know that you guys are here. Let us know as soon as you have questions, just put them up and we'll get to them as soon as we can. So just let me know. So from best kept secret to queues of clients, without further ado, let's get going. So who is this for? You already know. Oh, Jade, everything's working perfectly. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So who is this for? You already know you get great results. You're proven. You are qualified and you have a business already, or you have begun the stages of starting your business. This is essential. What we're going to give you is absolutely incredible information that's completely transformed the business. But you need to be willing to put the work in to make the difference and to have a heart-centered approach. You can make a lot of money in this industry very quickly and then disappear by being absolutely shit at what you do. What we're looking for is to really help people who have a huge mission to impact and to make a really positive change. Cool. Okay. So tech-wise, we're just working on a couple of issues. If anyone's got any issues, then just ask away. You can get into our group, the transformation space, and ask questions in there if you need to. There's always a way if you can't comment for any reason. But you already know you're great at what you do. You know that the clients who come to you, who actually commit themselves to the process of working with you, you know that they get great results. But now you're ready to take that to a new level by serving even more people to that standard. I will say, as you get more clients, you're going to have to adjust yourself so that you can create those consistent results as well as you get busier, and make sure obviously that your energy is in the right place as well. So if this is you, then listen on. We've got loads of stuff to get through. And as I say, I want to cover all the bases so that you have the foundations there, but I also know that that means we can't give huge amounts of depth on everything. So please, please, please ask questions. I'm super keen to hear what you guys want specifically. So the big difference with what we're going to go through today is getting those fundamentals in place. Let's chuck any jargon out of the window. Let's get rid of the complication. And I want to make it clear, I had no fucking clue about tech or any of that before I started the online aspect of our business, which is why I struggled in terms of the one-to-one in-clinic business that we had before, because I didn't understand how it was possible to make it work and to bring leads to you all the time. So we want to go over the fundamentals, get those basics down that will be the building blocks to really creating huge change. So another element that I'm going to go through is something that if you don't have this in place, it doesn't matter how good your tech is, how good your strategy is, you will not make it work, and you will just be pushing shit uphill and getting into a really force mode that just drains the life out of the female energy. So we want to make sure that those things are covered. These are mistakes that I've made in the past and mistakes I continue to make that I want you to be fully aware of so you can avoid. Really make sure that you're owning that capacity, that you can put all this into play and get rid of any notion that you're not good at tech or anything like that. So let's get fundamentals down and let's make sure that you can create queues of clients coming to you who are desperate for your service. So firstly, my name is Vicky Murgatroyd. I built Life Empowerment Project over the last couple of years. For those of you who don't know me, then previous to that, I had a one-to-one clinic where I would work with clients day in, day out, and it was amazing. Like, I want to be clear that I love that work. Absolutely, hand on heart, love the work, and I still love to work one-to-one with people. But there was no capacity for us to continue to grow, and we were still in a stage of, we got a lot of referrals through the business. I was doing a lot of manual networking and stuff like that, but it was unreliable. Either the phone rung or it didn't. I didn't have a way to absolutely ensure that those leads came through the door. There was just, I had no concept of it, and you don't know what you don't know. So we did our best with what we had. We filled the practice. It was amazing. But my mission to really get this message out there, this work has transformed my life so completely and utterly. And I knew that that way was limited. I knew that there must be a better way for me to get the message out there, for me to help even more amazing people. And that is what I want to teach you today. So what we do at Life Empowerment Project is help women in the transformation space. As I say, I want this ripple effect to continue outward. What's changed in my life has helped me change the lives of others, will help you change the lives of others, and the ripple effect will just continue, and the world is in desperate need of this. So what we specifically help our clients with is becoming the woman that is going to run their empire. So you're fully in your belief, you're fully in your power. And then from that space, you can create more clients, more time, and more cash flow. And we give you all the systems to do just that. Now, Life Empowerment Project consistently generates 100 plus leads every single week. Now, this is determined by paid advertising. Just to be completely clear, we get plenty of inquiries from people who just come across our stuff on social media, etc. But predominantly and reliably, our lead generation comes through paid advertising sources, which gives us full autonomy, full control over it. And that's exactly what I want you guys to have as well. And then I built out a sales team and fill in monthly group program launches. So the sales team are amazing people, amazing coaches, and women who are completely dedicated to helping other people. This is my dream coming true. And it's been facilitated by learning these things, by putting into place and taking massive action on the things that I'm going to teach you today. I want you to get rid of any notion that you're limited in any way, or starting at the beginning is a limitation. You get the opportunity now to get everything in line and everything in flow, just like I did. And I promise you, over the last 2 years, I could not have imagined that it would grow so quickly or so well. And the same can happen for you. Hand on heart, so long as the action's there, so long as your mindset's in the right place, the same can happen for you. So let's get into the actual tech. And I will also say another key factor to know about me is I talk absolutely 10 to the dozen. So if you can't keep up, then it's being recorded. Take as many notes as you possibly can. Feel free to go over the replay. And obviously, I will slow down to answer your guys' questions as they come in. But predominantly, let's go. This is about you. This is about you getting your answers. So let's go through. What do you need to know? After doing this, I was manually networking. I was doing BNI every single week. I would leave at 5 o'clock in the morning. I would get to the networking, which was right in the city, and I live in the northern suburbs. I would do my pitch every single week. That was part of my fear tasks because I was terrified of public speaking. So it's had its great growth for me, for sure. but it was exhausting. And I was talking to a lot of people who weren't my ideal clients, who didn't know my ideal clients, and who, quite frankly, I would never want to work with or even really connect with in a business sense. Also, there was many people who were absolutely phenomenal, but that's what I mean about those, when you're not specifying who you're targeting by, say, going to networking or doing the paid advertising, you end up talking to a lot of people who aren't the right fit. And to me now, knowing what we know and what we're going to teach you here, that's just a complete and utter waste of your time. Don't discount the manual networking for obviously the social and everything else, but in terms of your client acquisition, a lot stronger to go ahead and do what we're going to teach you today. We were paid advertising in public spaces. We literally had advertisements up in shopping centres around Perth, and obviously you're locked into those contracts that were going for a year, and they were bringing very little in for a fair bit of money, really. And yeah, again, it's just that whole, if you're not targeting your ideal clients, which we're going to talk about soon, then you're just kind of throwing a net out there and hoping that somebody takes a bite, which is just a ridiculous way of doing things. You have access via social media to hundreds of thousands of people who are just right for you. So why bother just kind of casting the wide net? Let's get specific. I'm going to talk more about that shortly. And then the other aspect was our business did very well off referrals. So don't get me wrong here, but I was giving out, say clients would come in, they'd say, oh, I've been talking to my friend, neighbor, colleague, dog about you, and they absolutely would love to work with you. They need these results, blah, 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 blah. Give them a card and then never hit back. And I know that is the case for so many people as well. It's taking the power out of your hands. It's leaving it to somebody else to take the action. People don't take action, even when they know it's good for them. So we need to get into the mindset of we are in control of the generation systems. So that's where we started. Again, hard work. And then now we've swapped our marketing around completely and utterly, and the model of our business as well, because we could not, with the leads that come in every week now, we could not have continued that same old system. So now we're generating over 100 leads every single week. Again, that's completely determined by how much money I put into the advertising, how many live videos I do. There's many different sources of how we get the leads in. But we've built massive trust. So when people come to us, they already know who we are. They know that we have the answers. They've seen our content. They've seen what we do. We've built that trust already. And you know for yourself, when somebody knows, likes, and trusts you, they are so much more likely to buy. And there's another element to that rarely gets discussed that we're going to speak about shortly as well. But basically, this has ensured to me that I know hand on heart that we will fulfill our mission. I know that we will fulfill our mission of changing people's lives so they can change other people's lives. And that's a no doubt in my mind. And that's a great space to be, because I'm continually energized by that fact. So this is the better way that we're going to go through today. And as you can probably tell by the speed I'm talking, I've got an absolute shit ton of content that I want to get through for you guys. As I say, please ask questions. As soon as you need anything, just stick a question up. So the first point that you need to know, and I do hope you guys are taking notes as well, is it's megaphone versus whispered secret. Are you just throwing a message out there to everybody, to the general public, or are you walking up to somebody and speaking in their ear as if you've known them forever? When you can get specific with what somebody wants and what somebody needs and actually speak to them in terms of that, their trust is built immediately. If somebody can speak my language to me and know exactly what I want and need, I am immediately open. I'm completely and utterly receptive to what they have to say and what they have to deliver, and also to buy from them. Again, that takes trust being built over time. I'm a pretty easy sale, to be honest. If I know that if something's going to benefit me, then I'm all in. I'll make it work. But you need to be specific. Specificity is the absolute key. This is your target market. You cannot throw a message out there that would absolutely hit home with a single mom in her 20s, then expect that to hit home with a woman in her late 40s whose kids have just left home. There's going to be a very different mindset. There's going to be very different things that are playing on their frontal lobe, if you like, that are occupying their front of mind awareness, that are their worries, that are their dreams. So ask yourself specifically, who is your ideal client? And I do not just mean who in terms of their demographics. Demographics are important, but what's even more important than that is psychographics. What are their dreams? What are their hopes? What is their deepest fear? What keeps them up at night? What worries them all day, every day? What would they absolutely love to have solved and to have the solution to right now? The more specific you can get with who you're looking for and who you're speaking to, the better. And that is absolutely essential. So what does your business deliver to that person? So now you know who it is. What does the business deliver? People don't care about your methodology. People care about the results that you're going to help them to create. Remember, we're driven by change. We're driven to escape our discomfort. So what problems are you solving and what solutions are you providing, specifically geared in the language towards your ideal client? So it's a very different thing for me to say to somebody, let's think of an example just off the bat here. It's a very different thing for me to say to somebody, oh, do you want to make more money? Do you think you maybe want to make a few more dollars? Or what would it mean to you if we could put another 100 grand on your bottom line every single year? What would it mean for you? What would it mean for your kids? What would it mean for your philanthropic efforts? What could you do with that additional money? Would it end that worry of, am I going to be able to feed my kids? Would it end the worry of, my kids have never been on a holiday? Like, what would it actually do for you? That specificity will speak to somebody. You want to pull people's heartstrings, because people do not buy from a state of logic. They buy from a state of emotion. What pulls at your ideal prospect's heartstrings? The more you can feed that through your business messaging, the better. And it's also worth considering here, and I've spoken about this a lot, it's wants versus needs. Now, most of us are very, very, very aware of our wants and driven by them completely. So I might want and know that I want an absolutely amazing body, but I also might want to eat a Snickers bar every day on my way home from work. But what do I actually need? What does my body need? That is on a completely different level. We're driven by our wants. We're driven by what pulls us, what draws us in, what is rewarding, what is exciting to us. So what does your ideal client want? Because I know if you want to earn 100K extra per year, then you've got to have a massive shift in your mindset. What you need is the massive shift in your mindset. What you want is the extra money. I'm not going to talk to you about the massive shift in your mindset because that's not as emotionally evocative. So look in terms of now you know specifically who your client is and what your business is delivering to them. Understand wants versus needs. You can do this by speaking to people who are in your niche, who are your ideal client, without pitching them, just to understand. And the more you speak to people in your niche, the better, the more of a wide range that you'll get. Sorry, we've just got a message that the screen is blurry. It's just an internet connection thing. We had this last time we did a YouTube live. If you can switch on to mobile data or anything that's just a faster connection, then that'll solve the problem completely. Yeah, apologies about that. There's nothing we can really do about that. Generally, when the internet connection is good, it works just fine. Did the exact same thing last time. So apologies for anyone who has got a bit of a blurry screen. The recording will be completely clear, but just make sure you're kind of taking notes for now anyway. Yeah, so the messaging has to speak directly, specifically to your client, specifically to their wants and their desires that are absolutely front of their mind, like what they know they want, what they're actively seeking. And that means the pain that they're seeking to escape and also the desired outcome they're seeking to create. So then your kick-ass message comes. And the bulletproof delivery. This was something I learned very, very quickly when I was in BNI, when I was doing manual networking every week. If somebody walks up to you and they say, so yeah, this is I'm a coach and I help people with their mindset. You're like, who? What? First of all, you haven't told me anything about what you do or who you help or how you help them. You've just told me basically a modality. So your message really wants to capture who your client is. So if I say, what do you do? And you say to me, oh, I work with amazing female entrepreneurs. I help them to create the leverage in their business to create more time for themselves so they can still make the impact that they want and they can serve more clients, but they're not stretched out doing like ridiculous hours every single week. It's a very different message. And immediately I'm like, oh, that sounds like so-and-so. She would really benefit from this. That's the point of your messaging. It wants to exclude people as much as it includes people. When somebody receives your message, whether it be in a video, whether it be on your website, however it is, then the message basically needs to say, is this for me or is this not for me? It shouldn't be any kind of blurred lines there. So the message is absolutely essential that you get that right. Again, test it on your market. They are going to give you the best answers that you can. Yeah, obviously, like if you can get your copywriting on point and if you can get the emotional pull from people, that's perfect. But we need to see how your market responds to it mainly, because they are going to be the proof in the pudding. So yeah, the delivery is all about you. You need to be confident and certain enough in yourself to deliver that with absolute ease and grace. Really, really important. So when you get this right, then this leads you straight into pillar number 2, which is desire. Unless your prospects are extreme psychics for some unbeknown reason, they're not going to know how awesome that you are. I know that it's against most of your internal drivers and comfort zones to tell people how fucking amazing you are, but you need to do that. You need to do it in a subtle way. You don't need to just wave it in their face, but you need to tell them and position yourself perfectly so that they know you have the answers that they need. That is absolutely key. So when somebody desires you, so the know, like, and trust thing, this is the final element. When somebody knows you, when somebody likes you, and somebody trusts you, they're way more likely to buy. I said that back at the beginning. But if you can build desire, that person wants your stuff, then that is a whole nother level, because they might know, like, and trust you, but if they don't have any desire to take action now, nothing's going to happen. So the desire is absolutely key and essential. So positioning yourself is all about creating that desire. What does your ideal client want the most? We've just been through this. Get keyed in on that and find a way to show them that you have the answers. Show them in your content, show them in your imagery, show them in your videos and how you present yourself, show them in what you're doing in your personal life, show them in your vulnerability, show them. Don't tell them how awesome you are, show them. Put yourself in that position of being that leader and be out there. This is going to build some massive authority. When somebody constantly sees you providing amazing answers that you know you need, then you're absolutely in their front of mind awareness. You are God to them. You have the answers that they desperately need. They're going to follow you. So it's all about positioning yourself. Now, I will say that is where a lot of people fall down, because again, it's like the messaging and the delivery. It's confidence. It's the certainty in yourself that's going to speak so much louder. When somebody is certain in themselves, when they deliver their message with absolute pinpoint accuracy, with that vibe that's behind it, that you just know that person knows their shit, then you trust them so much more immediately. That desire is really sparked. We all love to be around people who have those answers that we haven't yet gained. That's how we grow, right? Spending time with people who are how we want to be just shortcuts that gap towards getting there. So really positioning yourself and showing that you have the answers that your ideal prospects want. Most important thing. Again, when people know that you have the answers, it's easy for them to follow you. It's a no-brainer. So positioning wise, also be aware of the vibe of your whole business. Like if you're say a lifestyle brand, what do people want to see? Do they want to see you traveling? Do they want to see you going, like one of the brands I follow, who my partner was involved with, it's really girly. It's probably why I don't follow it, or I wasn't involved with it. It's super, super girly, really like luxurious and I guess high-end kind of a brand. Like it's always pulling in other brands like Gucci and Kate Spade and Chanel and stuff like that, which is just so different from how I am and how I do things. But her target market wants that. They are desperately desiring of that. They want the lifestyle. They want to be at the Ritz. They want to be running events at venues like the Ritz, not just going there for drinks and things like that. So the positioning in terms of that is really strong. If your ideal clients are suffering with anxiety, for instance, what do they need to see in you? They need to know that they can trust you. You need to have a really open energy, and you need to be able to put yourself in a vulnerable position so they feel safe to do the same thing. It's all about understanding those psychographics that we mentioned before to help your positioning. That, when it's done right, creates irresistibility. Again, somebody knows you have the answers, they are more than willing to follow you. And then urgency. I have done so much work that I have followed people forever and then finally got involved because they've set some kind of urgency on it. Why is it important for me to do this now? What am I going to lose out on? That fear of missing out, very, very important and very relevant in our society right now. We want to be involved. How can you create that urgency for those prospects to get involved now? Really ask yourself that question. Why is it so important that this person works with me now? For some of you, it will be that they need to get out of their pain now. And if they don't, this will be the result. And you need to be willing to express that. Now, when clients come to us, a lot of the time they're kind of, yeah, I really want the result, but I think I'm just going to wait until I'm ready. You need to build that urgency up, because I can guarantee you, if you don't take the action now, you'll never take the action. It's all well and good thinking, oh yeah, one day it's going to happen. It won't. Maybe 1 in 1,000 it will. But generally speaking, it won't. So build that urgency. How are you going to create that absolute need for them to step up and do it now? And the final point is results, results, results. This is one of the ways that you create urgency. And that is the biggest pull for desire. What change is somebody wanting? That's why they're coming to work with you. That's why we work with people in the transformation space. They want the result. They want the outcome. Again, nobody cares about the method. Nobody cares how you're going to get them there. They just want the outcome. They want to be out of their pain and they want to be into their pleasure. Simple. So create that desire in everything you do. So this can come across in imagery. It can come across in content that you're going to put out there, which we're going to speak about shortly. It can come across in videos. It can come across in your sharing of your private life. It can come across in so many different ways, but be aware that that needs to speak directly to who your ideal client is and what they want. So desire, absolutely essential. Know, like, and trust is one thing. If you can add desire to the mix, you are absolutely laughing. What if people could come to you already knowing that you create amazing results, that they are desperate to have those results? Does half the work for you, and it's a much more enjoyable conversation for you to have as well. So, oh, interesting. I obviously haven't checked the stuff that we've got on the slides. So funnel is our next key. Right, there's many elements to the funnel. Let's just pop these up. So the funnel is all about how we're going to get people from being cold traffic. So they don't know who you are. They don't have that trust, like, and know yet, or know, like, and trust. They don't have that yet. So how are we going to turn them from that into being absolutely raving fans that they know they have to be a part of what you're doing? Nothing's going to stop them from being a part of what you're doing. So how we do this, the funnel is basically, we're going to go through the steps of a funnel, because this is another term that's just thrown around. We're going to get down into the basics, but essentially the funnel is basically to take somebody from another source, to bring them to your website, to get their details, and then to put them through a process of building that trust with them, of getting them to know you, and then getting them on the phone and getting them into whatever your paid services are. So again, turning them from cold traffic, from unknowns to raving fans. So this, your funnel wants to speak directly to your clients' deepest desires. Not only their deepest, but their most prevalent, like what's playing on their mind every single day. If you can solve those problems, say like our tenacious time management manifesto has brought us in like 1,200 leads or something like that over time. Now, that is incredibly relevant to a lot of my niche who struggle with managing their time, clearly, who struggle with managing their day and organizing their time so that they're not working all the time, so that they are being efficient, etc., etc. It speaks directly to what their problem is at the moment and what they desire to have. Now, that's a simple version. Again, we're going to get into the options that you have to do that. But essentially, the funnel is something that's going to draw people in. So how do you stop people from scrolling away on Facebook mindlessly to saying, ooh, that's something that I need to have? That is by speaking to their deepest desires. So taking them from there onto your site. And all you're going to do is follow this formula to do it. Now I'm going to dive deep into these, so feel free to ask questions, please. So again, with these things, apologies. So step one is to draw them in. So this is again how we do it via paid advertising. Now I've had a great question from Christy about that she doesn't get the paid advertising so much. So what are the other options? We're going to go through some other options for sure, but I will say the Facebook advertising it's a no-brainer. Learn the skills that you need to get it right. And I promise those skills are learnable. I see it with clients every day starting to put things together. It is complex and there is a lot of different information out there about how to make it work for you. Find the way that works for you, get mentored, get help with it. This has been a huge change for our business when I really learned how to master this, because basically I can put whatever money that I want to that week into Facebook advertising that I know will bring us X amount of leads, that I know will bring us X amount of people working with us. And it makes everything very, very simple, very predictable and easy to flow through. So step one is draw them in. Now, I want to run through a different few things for Christy, because paid advertising is not the only way. And I want to make that really clear. I know people who've built 6-figure businesses by just doing Facebook Lives. That's the only way that they do it. Now, it's very, very possible for you to not use paid advertising. This is just what really works for us. So your options are guest posting and podcasts and things like that, getting your name out there and really building your list. And I will be clear, in terms of the funnel, our whole point is that we're going to not only gain followers, we're going to gain people's details. So with the guest posting or the podcasts or the live videos that you're going to be doing as alternates from paid advertising, there always needs to be a strong call to action. Even if you're doing work with a joint venture partner, like if you get this client, you send them my way and we do this for them. There needs to be a strong call to action. What do you want people to do? So say if I'm finishing up a podcast, I will introduce, cool, so we've got this freebie or this challenge coming up or this masterclass. All you're going to do is follow this link, go to that page, pop your details in, and you're going to get this result, and this result. Very, very simple. So a call to action can be various things, even from your live videos at the end or throughout. You want to be doing call to actions. Directly telling people what you want them to do, even in paid advertising, is absolutely essential. So Christy, I hope that helps. The strong call to actions are absolutely essential. Guest posting, get in touch. Now that you're clearer on your message and your target market, get in touch with those podcasts and things like that that are really relevant, and draw them in. But always have a freebie, which we're going to speak about in a moment. Always have a freebie to send people to, so that you're building your list as well as your followers, because they're people giving you your details, people giving your oh dear, people giving you their details is absolutely essential. This is how we build out our funnel. This is how we build out our list. So whatever the sources are, then you want to basically, the whole point is that they exchange their email for whatever your freebie or whatever your paid product is. So you want to draw them in is step one. So this is basically, we take them from being on Facebook, scrolling along mindlessly, completely numb, to stopping them in their tracks. This is why it's so important that you are absolutely keyed in on who your ideal client is, what they want. Again, speak directly to them and people immediately stop. People want to feel heard, they want to feel understood, and they want to feel safe. When you speak directly to them and their mindset in their words, that does that in seconds. So really powerful. The important factors with Facebook ads is that you learn the tech. We're not going to dive deep into the tech today, because really I could talk about this for hours to make sure that you have everything that you need. If you need more help with things like this, there's going to be a button that pops up later that you can book in with one of the team. If it's really techie stuff that you need help with, I'm more than happy to field calls like that. But essentially, learn the system. Learn it, because it's going to earn you hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more. So basically, your factors for your Facebook advertising. Firstly, to stop the scroll, you need a capturing image. You need to stop them in their tracks in terms of the image and in terms of the headline. So stop the scroll is number one. And then you're targeting. If you're going to do paid advertising, you can't just throw it out there to anybody. You need to throw it out there to your niche. So who are you going to target? Are you going to target people who follow Mind Body Green? Are you going to target people who follow Marie Folio? Are you going to target people who follow Tony Robbins? Like, what's relevant to your industry? And find that out. And there's a great little tool on Facebook called Audience Insights. It's within your Adverts Manager, but I highly recommend you check that out. Audience Insights. Really, if you haven't used it before, do your research and learn how to use it. But that is my little freebie tip to you that will earn you a lot of money if you get it right. Your targeting is everything. If I'm sending the most perfect message in the world out to what would absolutely capture my ideal client, but it's not getting to them, it's going to somebody else, it's not going to work. It's not going to bring me in any results at all. So sending your ads to the right people are absolutely essential. So stop the scroll with some amazing imagery, amazing copy, be specific in the results that you're wanting them to create. With your ads, you're not just saying, oh, come to my website, because it's too general. The whole point of running ads is that you want them to exchange their details. So all you want them to do is come in through the ad, come to a specific page where they are going to download whatever. I'm going to talk about that in step number 2. And then they've exchanged their details and then they're in your system. That is essentially the whole point. So you need a strong call to action in any form of advertising, whether it be paid or otherwise. So that is, say, a call to action. Click on the link below to download your copy of X, or click on the link below to secure your seat at the masterclass. You would have seen that or similar on our adverts that have been out this week about this event today. Now, we've tested, and you'll be surprised with this, but write this down. We've tested without those call to actions, the specific telling people what to do, where to click, what to do next, and the results go down considerably. People actually need that guidance to, okay, this is the next step. Okay, this is the next step. That takes out any and all guesswork and any and all brain power. Again, people are not on Facebook to educate themselves. They're on Facebook to kind of mindlessly scroll and find things out and be nosy and everything else. So be specific and direct in your call to actions, even in your paid advertising text. And then track your results. So what's working for you? Are lives bringing in the best results? Are Facebook ads bringing in the best results? And are certain freebies bringing in the best results? Really track what's going on. The more you track things, the more you measure things, the more those things are going to grow. So step 1 is to draw them in. However you get them to your website and to these specific pages on your website that I'm going to go through now, draw them in. Get them from social, from wherever they're doing, with whatever they've got going on in their life, get them to your website and to your landing page. So step 2, and again, please, questions, any questions that you have, please, I'd be more than happy to field specifics anytime. So step number 2 is exchange for the win. So you've got them from social media and you've got them to your website. Now, this page that you're getting them to on your website is a specific page just for your offer. So you're not sending them to a homepage where there's plenty of different avenues they can run down. The whole point of a funnel is that you take them from this wide neck into this bottleneck, essentially. So they've landed on the page. You're telling them all about the amazing results they're going to get by using your PDF, by coming to your masterclass, by doing your challenge, by joining your paid services, whatever it is for you. Start out with your freebie first. This is going to take people from, again, being cold traffic, they've just come from Facebook, remember, to knowing, liking, and trusting you. And again, we're going to create that desire as we go. But exchange for the win. So the whole point of this page, it's called a squeeze page, it's called a landing page, it's called an opt-in page, whatever you want to call it, is essentially that's where the bottleneck begins. So they have come to this page and you're just telling them about your amazing freebie. Now, there's 2 risk factors here that you need to assess. One of them is a time risk and one of them is a financial risk. So you want to send advertising, whether it be paid or otherwise, to people who already know, like, and trust you when it's of higher risk. But for the lower risk things like a PDF or even an audio guide or something like that, basically is just like showcasing your knowledge. You want to put that out there to cold traffic. So they don't need huge amounts of trust already built in you to opt in for that, because it's a low time risk for them. It's not going to mean that they need to spend 3 days with you at a seminar or a week with you on a challenge. They can consume it pretty quickly. They can understand your value. And then there's, again, another call to action within that. So your two risk factors are time and money. Even though you might think, oh, it's a free 3-day seminar, it's a time risk. It's going to be harder for you to get people there. So just bear that in mind. You build the risk factors as you build the trust and as you build the desire. So if I know people already know how awesome we are, how amazing our results are, they've already seen some of our clients singing praises, then I know I can hit them with a higher risk offer, and they'll be way more likely to go in for that, essentially. So I hope that makes sense. Again, I know I want to make this as simple as possible, so we're really covering the basics, but I want to make sure that this is fully understood by everybody. So super keen to hear that. So exchange for the win. They come to your website on a specific page just for this freebie or just for this paid product when you get to that stage. The whole point is build that trust, allow them to exchange their details for this freebie, and then introduce to irresistible. So this is the stage, right? At one end you got the introduction, at the other end you got irresistible, and we're basically taking them through a pipeline. This is all about what a funnel is. So they've come onto your landing page, they've opted in, they really want this freebie. So say it is the Ignite Unstoppable Confidence audio recording that we have. So they've opted in for that. They have put their details in, they get taken to a thank you page. Thank you very much. That's one part of the funnel. And then the other part, which I'm going to get into in a moment and tell you the tech about that, is delivering, I started to read off the slide then, is delivering whatever it is that they wanted. Now, how we deliver that is we use a CRM. Again, I'm going to go into details with that. But you deliver their freebie. That's trust built for a start off. I've put my details in for things in the past where nothing's shown up. That's just basically an error in the funnel. But that doesn't do very much for trust. So basically you want to deliver whatever it is that they've wanted to exchange their details for. They've given you their details, you give them their magic. End of. And then the irresistible slide begins. So this person now has listened or read your freebie. They know that you've got value to offer. And then you begin to follow them up over the next couple of weeks with introductions. So you want to basically know who this person is. So I know that they've got value. I've got great breakthroughs from this audio recording I listened to, but who is this person? Who is this business? What do I need to know about them? And then we begin to introduce. So what you want to do is set up a series of emails. It's called a nurture sequence or a heat sequence. Again, we're covering many bases, so feel free to ask questions, but introduce is what the business is all about. Introduce your mission to them, introduce your story of how you got to be where you are. Then send them some of your best bits of content a few days later. And then send them a few client results so that they know that A, you provide amazing value, but B, it's not just you telling them how amazing you are, it's other people. So videos of clients, snippets of clients with their texts of what they've said with a picture of them. So basically it's all building that trust. So you introduce them to yourself to the point of where you are now irresistible. At that point where they know you, they like you, they trust you, and they have desire because you've been building it up and building the urgency, then you make an offer to them. That offer is generally speaking going to be to get on the phone. So it's time to talk the talk. This is where you get to basically select from the cream of the crop. You're going to be able to get a lot of leads through in this method, in this way. So you basically want to be able to select. So who is the right fit for my business? Who do we know that we can create phenomenal results with? And who do we want to work with? Who really gels with us? How do we know we're the right fit? That happens through a conversation. I don't work with people personally, and I don't recommend that my clients do, who I've never spoken to before. Now, I may have learned this the hard way a few times in clinic when there was a few people who they would just book in over the phone. Again, it was kind of, people would ring just as and when, and it was kind of unpredictable, but they would ring. All you would have is the opportunity, if it was you fielding the call, that's fine, or maybe it was somebody else in the business fielding the call, and then they would come in for an appointment with you in the center. And sometimes if I was alone, because I used to work very late at night to work with people who'd finished work late, I ended up in some interesting situations with people who I really would not want to be alone with. So essentially that's an extreme example, but basically what you want to do is who do you want to work with? Really understand who that person is. Is this somebody who you can create results with? Is this somebody who you can see you building a long-term relationship with? There are parameters in Life Empowerment Project, and it works really well. And I can tell you, hand on heart, from ending up working with people who have not been ideal in the past, that it makes a huge difference to you, to your energy, to your mission, to the results that you can create. And it's your responsibility to assess whether that person is a right fit for your business. And that is not in a judgmental way. That's in a, how can I best serve this person? Maybe you're not the person for them. Maybe they're not the person for you. And that's totally cool. But you want to talk to people. You want to create that connection with them and understand where they're at, what they want, what their problems are. And basically, if you gel, personality-wise, energy-wise, expectation-wise, really important that you bring them to that point. So how you do that, you build that trust. You give them the opportunities in the emails to book in to speak with you. And I highly recommend that you get people's phone numbers when they exchange their details, as well as their email address, so that you can follow up, so that you can make those connections with people. And it just means that you're providing an excellent service. Obviously, if somebody's put their details in because they want your freebie, it's for a reason. Whether they want to take it further or not is a choice between the two of you, but it's awesome to have their details so that you can talk the talk and allow them to book in. Allow them to take that action and make sure they answer a few questions when they do book in as well to speak with you. So let's just recap that very, very briefly. I want to make it as simple as possible. Basically, you draw them in through Facebook advertising that's paid, or through posts on Facebook, through videos, through guest posting, through podcasts. Do a strong call to action that you want them to take this next step. The next step takes them to your website, where they exchange their details for your freebie, which promises X result for them. You obviously over-deliver in that freebie and make sure that they get a great breakthrough, so that trust is built again. And then, because you now have their email address that you've delivered the freebie to, over the next couple of weeks, you send them introductory emails. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is who we help. These are our results. And then build that urgency so that they want to book in a call with you, so that they know you have the answers that they need. And then finally, talk the talk. Be the leader on that call. Assess who is the right fit and who isn't, and be absolutely strong in your integrity with that. So I hope that makes sense. Again, big run through. I'm expecting questions, guys, so please do feel free to chuck them up. And I will say also, I don't know what the hell is going on with these sliding things. My apologies. I will say, although it feels complicated, this is Jo. This is one of our stunning clients who is just an absolute powerhouse. Now, when she came to the retreat that we do as part of our program, she admittedly had some, or maybe it was just in her mind, but had some serious technology blocks. And yeah, so this is what she said: I've had major shifts with my tech blocks. Now I finally understand landing pages. I've gone from not understanding what they were to now having two. This is an essential part of your funnel. This is how people are going to come to your website and exchange their details. Now, Jo will say, hand on heart, if she can do it, then anybody can do it. And look, what I'll say about Jo is that even though she had these tech blocks in her, that she believed she had these tech blocks, she never let that stop her from taking the action. And that's a huge difference maker. Yes, this stuff is complicated. Yes, I found it extremely complicated when I first started, but that's not to say it's insurmountable. You can absolutely do it. And I want to make that hand on heart clear. I had no clue when I started. And then I built our website so that we could have landing pages and stuff like that available. I built our website. I sorted out our CRM. I do all the tech stuff in the business, and I do the majority of it still. It's possible. And when you get the system right, it's a massive asset. So never let your perception of technology or the fear around technology hold you back ever, because I promise you it's an easy fix. It's just simplifying and getting you the results that you want, getting you the answers and getting you the system in place. So yeah, that's Jo, and she's absolutely amazing. So automate, we finally got rid of the slide effects. Automate is how we get this working. So obviously, right when I was doing one-to-one clinic work, we had nothing set up in terms of like an email marketing system or anything like that. And basically when somebody would come to us, I would have emails to send them, I'd have follow-ups to send them, I'd have this to send them. And it came to a point where I was doing a lot of admin after hours, even though I was finishing at say 8:30, 9 o'clock in the evening. I would go home and I've had a lot of admin to do and a lot of follow-up and stuff. So what we need to do is automate that process. Now we have 100 plus leads coming through every single week. I think our biggest lead week ever was like 550 or something like that. If I have that many people coming through, I cannot do this myself. So we want to employ, or utilize, I should say, not to create any confusion, utilize a CRM. So this is your client relationship manager. This is basically, you'll have heard of Infusionsoft, you'll have heard of MailChimp, and what I recommend is that you check out Active Campaign. And I'm not affiliated with these guys, but they've created amazing results for us. Active Campaign is basically your system that you automate your marketing with. So when somebody comes onto my list through my landing page, they've put their details in, and then that fires off the automation. So that fires off them getting their thing delivered to them. Now, this is Caitlin, one of the amazing clients who's just got her stuff set up this week. Absolutely amazing that she's actually implemented that. And yes, it does take some work. It does take some digging in your brain to make sure that you're creating it the best way that you can. But basically, your nurture sequence is that introduction to making you irresistible. So it's that slide through who you are and what you do and everything else. It is an amazing feeling when you know that people are coming to your business and then learning all about it on autopilot. So how you do this is through Active Campaign. You can do it through MailChimp, but Active Campaign honestly has been an absolute game changer for us, and that's why I recommend it to my clients as well. When tech can make things easy for you, that is something that I look for. So yeah, it builds the trust as well by automation. So they're going from that introduction to irresistible in a completely fluid way. So the automation is absolutely essential if you want to do your online marketing. So I've just been sent a question. So Liz has asked, when you have found clients who are absolutely the right fit, how do you empower them to move past their financial blocks or feeling like they're not good enough, self-limitations? That's a phenomenal question. So essentially what you want to do when you've got somebody who is the right fit and you are on the call with them is you need to change their state. Essentially is the first key. Change their state and get them into the possibility thinking. Now, most people haven't taken action yet because they don't know how. So there's two elements that you want to show them. You want to show them that it's simple in terms of what needs to be implemented and when, and then you also want to show them that it is necessary for them to get help, because it is hard. The truth is that it is difficult for the action to be taken, for all the questions to be answered, etc. So that's how you build the need for them to have your service, by showing them, yes, it is possible for them, but they need this blank filling in, this blank filling in, this blank filling in. Let me just reread the question. So they're financial blocks as well. Basically, when somebody's in an empowered enough state and you've built enough urgency and you've built enough certainty around what you do, it's handling those objections in advance. Say, for instance, Jo. Jo is who I just spoke about on the last slide. Jo is absolutely sensational, absolutely amazing. She has 2 young kids. She took them on their first holiday as a family a few weeks before she came to Perth for our retreat. Like, she had serious financial blocks when we started, but she took the action. She got things into flow and she did the unbelievable, basically, and she's got herself in great flow. Now, when you can own that space and know that you can help clients create those results, and you can express them to those with stories of people who've already done it like them or who are in a worse situation than them, it changes their state, because it steps them into that possibility thinking. What is possible for me? Is this really true that I can have this? Show them with stories, show them with examples. Again, show, don't tell, and that will really help empower them up. And you need to hold your certainty. The biggest thing that's going to make or break a sale is your certainty. How certain are you that you get results? If you can hold that certainty that you get results, that they want your results and that they can do it and that they are the right fit, then you need to do what it takes to handle those objections on the call. Again, the more you buy into those objections, the less power that you're going to have, the less certainty you maintain. And again, your certainty is everything. So it's all about, yes, they've given you an objection. Basically, I believe that it's just a little bit of a test when that happens. This person's testing me. How am I going to handle them when they're in? How am I going to handle them when they have a problem? And when I deal with those, I don't buy into people's bullshit. I know how far I've come with the business. I know how far clients have come. I know if you've got a problem right now, it's going to be gone when we work together. I know that hand on heart, and nobody can convince me otherwise. So I'm really owning your truth in that situation. You're the leader. Make them show you that they want it. Make them step up into that space, because as soon as they're proving themselves that they can get the result, they begin to believe it. It's inception. They have the idea, they have the belief, they have the knowledge in themselves. So Liz, I hope that helped. That was a very ranty answer, but it's a massive passion of mine. If somebody is the absolute fit and they need your services, you have to step into that space and own that for them. Because right now they might not have the strength to believe in themselves, but if you can hold that certainty and you can believe in them enough, get rid of those objections out of the way, empower them up to make a decision and to commit and to make that happen for them, their world begins to change. This is why I love working with people in this space, because you literally have the power to change people's life. And that is an absolute fucking honor. So Liz, again, I went ranty again. Liz, I hope that helped. So the automation, active campaign, do your due diligence with the active campaign and see if it's right fit for you, but I highly recommend it. Set up your automation and your trust building sequences on autopilot so it runs for you. That's basically the foundations of what you need to know there. Again, any questions, please chuck them up, because I know this is complex. And it's tech, and tech is a lot of what puts us off in this area, but I promise you it's a game changer, and it's well worth you learning. And get around the people who know it, get around the people who can do it and show you and answer questions as they come up. So another system that I wanted to mention was Infusionsoft. Active Campaign, why I rate it so much is because it does a lot of what Infusionsoft does and has that same kind of user-friendly element, but it doesn't cost you thousands of dollars. It's very cheap for what it does, so that's why I recommend it. Just another thing that I forgot to mention. And then finally, what you need to know is mindset. So the best strategy in the world will fail if your mindset and energy isn't in the right place. Right. I mean this hand on heart. If your mindset is not in the right place, you can take the best strategy and you can just flush it down the toilet. I've done this myself when I've been in struggle, when I've been in push, when I've been in stress and I've been in desperation. You don't work. Your vibe will speak way louder than any strategy you employ. So be the example for your clients. Anticipate the ebbs and the flows. There will always be rises and falls. There'll always be feast and famine to a certain degree. There's always going to be amazing spaces where you feel unstoppable. And then there's always going to be places where you think, what the fuck? And you have to be prepared for that. So prepare daily. Have those things in place that you do daily, your rituals, your routines that bulletproof you. Now, I know when I'm having a harder time, it still happens. And it's undeniable. You can't avoid it. It doesn't matter what stage you get to, because you're dealing with bigger challenges that the further along you go. You have to anticipate that this is going to happen, and the knowledge that it's going to happen, and the knowledge that it will always happen, that highs don't last forever and that lows don't last forever. It's very, very comforting. It allows you to just flow through those results. So the point of doing these daily actions is to raise your vibrations. You are going to attract people who mirror you. If you want queues of clients, but you're in a terrible space, you're going to attract people who are in a terrible space. And just to refer to Liz's question earlier, if you're in a terrible space, you're going to say, if you've got money issues, you're going to attract that. The first thing that I ask people when they say, oh yeah, I've got loads of people coming to me that want to work with me, but none of them have any money. I'm like, cool, so how do you feel about money? And they're like, oh, money's a struggle, blah, 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 blah. You will attract yourself every single time. Fix your own shit and then you can help other people. And that's what I mean by being the example. And I do say to people, if you're not the example of what you're teaching, get out of the space. Like, if you're not putting the work in to be that example, then you don't deserve a space here. You have to be willing to look at your own shit, to really be the example for your clients, to know that you can lead them. You have to be able to go through the shit just like they do. So be really, really clear with that. You're going to attract people who just mirror you. And a great example to, before I get on and answer a few more questions, a great example is to, I got distracted by another question coming through, apologies. A great example to raise your vibration, is to be the future you. Be the version of you in the future. So what I always ask myself when I'm having a mindset slip, or I'm looking to kind of elevate my mindset, is what would future me do now? Now, there's a version of me in the future who's running a multi-million-dollar business, serving thousands of clients to amazing, amazing results, and really being a positive change in the world. So how does she think? How does she feel? What does she do? How would she respond? And that immediately takes me out of where I'm at now and causes me to raise my game. Remember, the quality of life is determined by the quality of questions that you're asking yourself. That is a high quality question right there. So speaking of high quality questions, let's get through a few more. How do you move from a low price point to a high price point? So Liz, so I do this, and I speak about this with clients often, because I do often get people to change their approach, I guess, with their pricing and with their delivery, so they can maximize on the results they get, because that's what it's all about. You need to be completely congruent with your price range, with your price raise, When you're congruent, you can have the certainty. So I gave this example the other week. I remember working with someone ages ago, and he'd said to me, why don't you charge 10 grand for whatever? And it was an 8-week course at the time, and it was, I think it was priced around 2,500. It was when I first started in the online world. Why don't you raise your price for 10 grand? Why don't you raise your price to 10 grand with the results that you're getting? And I was like, fuck. Like, there was no way at that stage. I had the confidence, the certainty, the just the self-worth, basically, to raise my prices to that level. So you're going to increase incrementally, in my opinion. It works the best because you can prepare yourself, but always stretch yourself. And if you want to raise to a high price point, justify it to yourself. How am I going to raise my standards? Again, be the example. If I'm going to charge X amount of money for this result, how can I provide even more than that client could ever expect? How can I over deliver to their already high expectations? And as soon as you put yourself in that state, again, you're accessing your resources. So justify to yourself. That helps with your certainty, but also connect with the results that you help people create. Again, when it's results driven instead of time driven, it's a lot easier to charge a higher price point. But essentially, I'd love to know specifics, if you have specific questions, of the actual shift in price that you want to make. Like, A, why do you want to raise your prices? B, what kind of service would you be providing like to justify the price? And then what's the extra result that the client would get? The more you know that, the more you can kind of engage with that, and the more your certainty will always come across. So I hope that helps. Then another question, how many paid ads should I do a week? Emma, that's a great question. It's really dependent on how many leads you want. So it's, first of all, it's testing the market to see what really works for you. Say for us, challenge ads work really well, like insanely well, probably better than any other type of ad. So if we're going to do a 5-day challenge, I know we can expect a lot of leads through the door. So I will need to run less ads that week to get X amount of leads. And again, it depends on which ads are successful. Sometimes I've put out ads that I think, yeah, this is going to be amazing, and it's completely flopped. And other times I've put out ads that I've thought, yeah, not sure about this one, and it's gone boom. So it's really testing your market to see what really lands with them, and then scaling the ads from there. So it's not necessarily the number of ads that you need out there, it's how effective those ads are being, if that makes sense to you. So the things to track with your ads are how many people are clicking through, how many people are converting, and how many people are then taking the action to become a paid client. So that's basically, they're going to give you huge amounts of data, but they're the things that you really want to check of how effective your ads are being. Again, it's all about the ROI. If I'm putting $1,000 into somebody's hand every single day and they're giving me back $10,000 every single day, I'm going to keep doing that, and I'm going to put more money in, and I'm going to make more ads to create those same results. So it's all about testing initially, putting small amounts of money in. Even as you start your ads, you target one. Do I really want to go into this? Yeah, okay. So with your ads, you want to target the same ad to different audiences. This is in your ad sets, and this can be explained to you again if you choose to speak with us. And you want to target one interest at a time, or one segment of the population at a time. So yeah, essentially it's seeing which ads work and seeing how they convert the best and what brings in the best results for you, and then you can understand what ads you need to be putting out there. Again, sorry I can't get more specific, but I hope that helps. And that was a great question, so thank you, Emma, you are amazing. From Shapeshifter Admin, let me open this one up because it's a long one. Can we convert a potential client without the push of urgency and those continual click here, read this page? I'm sure there are other people who hate that sales technique. Essentially, there is no real push in terms of that, but you need to create some desire, and that's the point. As long as somebody desires something, they'll act quickly on it when they know they can get X result in X amount of time. So you can do it without push techniques for sure, but the click here is essentially to get them to get what they want, to get the freebie, or to get the answer that they want is the click here. And then the read more and everything else is just delivering them what they've wanted and getting them the answers that they want. So I'm not sure about that bit, but without the push, let me reread. Can we convert a potential client without the push of urgency? Just building, in terms of the actual conversation that you're going to have with a client, it's the urgency that they have. They create the urgency. It's not a push that creates the urgency. They create the urgency in the wanting to move from where they are to where they want to go. You know, if they're coming to you, if they're downloading your freebies, if they are on your challenges, or if they are on the phone with you, that you know that they want the result. They've created the urgency. All you need to do is create the desire and create that certainty in you that you're the person who can help them get results. So I hope that makes sense. Shapeshifter, great question. And yeah, the sales technique as such. Oh, sorry, Vicky. The click-through pages that go on and on really peeve me. Okay, sure. Okay, so the sales pages with a freebie, the sales pages are only short. It's just literally here's your thing, have this. The sales pages that go on and on are typically for a higher price point or something like that, and that is for trust building. If you want to do it so that literally people, you just make the result clear, they already know what the point is of them opting in. You can just do a quick click through, so they have to answer a couple of questions and then they can book in for a call with you without any kind of high stakes stuff, if that makes sense. I hope that answers your question. And then Emma, how can I get help creating these funnels? We're going to talk about this shortly. There are many options. The solutions that we provide, I absolutely stand by, and we do work with people from the kind of get-go, from the start of the process, for them to make it in a way that's completely congruent with them. So we'll talk about that again shortly. Thank you for that. So mindset-wise, I want to be clear with this. Your mindset, when you get it right, even the mediocre strategies will work very well for you. When you get your mindset right, when you're in high vibration, when you're attracting, when you're manifesting, when you're in flow instead of push, you attract all the right people to you, all the right opportunities. Things just flow. And hand on heart, I cannot express to you how important it is that you do that. And I'm going to say something that most people don't say, if you are struggling, don't keep pushing with tech. Don't keep pushing with your funnels. Don't keep pushing with strategy. Don't keep pushing with trying to acquire new clients. Stop what you're doing. Pull yourself back into flow. Do what it takes to work on you. Take time for you. Do self-care. Get yourself back in flow. Because I can promise you, when that's dealt with, that in itself will be the biggest factor that determines your results. I can promise you, absolutely, hand on heart. Now, I've said this in another webinar before, but I'll say it again because it is worth repeating, and it was a fucking enormous lesson for me. I have run a campaign in the past that brought us in over 100K, and it was amazing, and it was totally in flow, and I was loving it, and I was in a great state, and it was brilliant. And then months and months later, I was in a shit space. I was overwhelmed. I was struggling. It was just one of those ebb periods. You know, the flows happen and then the ebb happens. But it was one of the, I was surprised by the ebb because everything had been going so well for so long, blah, 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 all the usual stuff. But I got into this ebb state, and then I was like, nothing's working as fluidly, blah, blah. I'll do what I did before. And I launched this same campaign again, and it brought in nothing. It was the same targeting. It was the same stuff. It was the same landing page. It was the same follow-up, and it brought in nothing. I swear, hand on heart, the biggest factor in this is you. It's absolutely essential that you get you in the right space, that you get you in the right flow first of all. So I hope that makes sense. And yeah, Terry she's an amazing woman. She'd been in the industry for ages. She is absolute fucking powerhouse. And she was in a tough space mentally when she came to me. Just absolutely sensational woman, but none of her stuff was working. And that was because she wasn't in the right space. She was overwhelmed. She was really, really stuck because she kept going over this stuff again and again for herself. Now, when you shift your mindset, when you shift that stuff for yourself, the flow comes back in, and then you are back in your power. The most important thing. So yeah, again, ranty, but really essential. Avoid these pitfalls. You are the most important thing. Get you in flow, and everything else will flow as well. Obviously, the strategy is important, but most important is you. You're the driver. You are the magnet for everything. How you're feeling, how you're thinking is going to attract your reality back to you. So, the ultimate question, and I've kind of alluded to this throughout, who do I need to be so my ideal clients know if they follow me, they'll get the answers that they need? Who do I need to be? Really tune into that. Again, that's a great mindset in itself. Who do I need to be to know, so that my ideal clients know if they follow me, they'll get the answers that they need? Certainty is absolutely key, but there's going to be things specifically that your clients need to know, they need to see, they need to have shown to them to know that if they follow you, they'll get the answers they need. Are you walking your talk? This is part of what I said earlier. Be the example or get out of the space. There's so many people who are not worthy of leading other people in this space at the minute, and it's awful. But it happens with really cheap qualifications, with really accessible, with people promising the world to anybody who can vaguely, speak, and you can coach people, and it's just ridiculous. Who do you need to be? Be the example. And not only will you make amazing, amazing results for yourself, you're going to make amazing results for other people as well. So I really do access this question every single day. We do it before calls, before we would speak to a new client, before we would get on videos, before creating any kind of content. Who do I need to be? What do I need to show? What can I bring to the table to know, so that they know that if they follow me, they'll get the answers that they need? Show, be the example, and I promise you, things will change for you. And also, with the question from Shapeshifter, was it at the end? The click-through pages, do call to actions via Facebook Lives, via videos, and things that are really going to build trust with people. Again, the point of getting somebody to a landing page is to build trust. Other ways of building trust that I spoke about with Christy's question way back when was doing the, say, the guest posting or the podcasts or videos and live videos, things that are going to create trust, because people get to know, like, and trust you that way as well. It's not just paid advertising that follows to a freebie or anything like that. There are plenty of ways. We just talk paid advertising so that we can be in complete control, so that we can kind of assess how much it's going to cost us to get a client, how much money we need to put in to make sure we have that continual stream coming through. But get yourself out there. Again, if I'm seeing you on podcast, if I'm seeing you on video, that begins to build a huge level of trust from me to you, to know that you have the answers. So there are plenty of ways. Please don't limit yourself by thinking this is the only way at all. And just, again, showing people who you are. Be the message and share. Push yourself out of your comfort zone. Get out there, be visible, be seen, and be the example for people. Cool. So we have covered getting specific with that kind of whispered secret rather than the megaphone effect of just shouting at everybody. I create this result. I do this modality. Get specific. Create that desire. Allow people to know that you have the answers. Position yourself really well and build the urgency. Again, I have followed people for ages before I finally got involved in what they're doing because they've created some level of urgency. Get in now to get this result, blah, blah, blah. Cool, I'm ready. Let's do this. And creating urgency really does work because otherwise they can get the result in the future. But remember, people don't take action in the future. What is that phrase? 99. Tomorrow is the place where 99% of action takes place, or something like that. It's bullshit. You have to get people to act now, and urgency and desire is the way to do that. So you remember the know, like, and trust, and then add desire to that, and you're absolutely laughing. Funnel. Bring people to your site. Offer them freebies or offer them trust-building things. So whether it be a podcast, whether it be a live, get them to know you. Get them to understand how much value you bring to the table. Get them engaged, and then automate that process. So build that trust. Show them how you guys create results. Show them. Don't tell them. Show them. Get other people, get your clients, whoever, to show what results it is that you help create. And please, 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 mindset. I know I've put this at the end, but it needs to overarch above everything else. Your mindset and you are the most important thing. You can go some, and I can hand on heart say that I've done this. You can go some for a set amount of time and then just fucking burn out because you've just been go, go, go. Especially with the feminine energy, you really want to pull it back and understand that when you nurture that, you are an absolute powerhouse of attraction. You don't need to be hunting all the time. Be putting yourself out there, be visible, and then you'll just magnetize those right people to you when you're in the right mindset. So, any more questions? You're going to have an opportunity to ask shortly. And I've also got another amazing question that was sent in via our email. I think I've covered the others as we've gone through anyway, but please, again, feel free to ask any more questions. I love getting the specific answers for you guys. It's awesome. It's great just to kind of, to know that you're engaged and that you're listening. But essentially, I want to talk to you about how we help our clients get results and how we basically create these changes for these amazing women that we have the pleasure of working with. So our process is called the Awakened Entrepreneur. This is 4 months that we work with people for, and this is our entry-level program. We do have a 12-month program as well, but the Awakened Entrepreneur is basically your foundations. What do you need in place? So we teach you everything you need to know to get those results, creating more time, creating more clients, creating more cash flow, and again, being the woman who creates it all. Really, the biggest piece of feedback that I get is not about the tech and everything else, because that's amazing and that brings amazing results, but it's how you feel. And I can honestly say, hand on heart, that if I had to choose between the two, which I could have, it would always be where I'm at. That is the biggest asset that you have. And we sell ourselves short so often. But I promise you, when you connect with that and you create what's possible for you and you fully own your belief and your power, you're fucking unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. And that is the exact thing that's going to spill out to other people. That's what's going to create the ripple effect. Just by being around you, they get to start feeling like that about themselves. That's a fucking absolute privilege. So again, ranty, I'm getting very passionate today, but essentially that's what I love to see. People really owning themselves, not only to see how it affects them, to see how it affects their business and their clients and the results, and it's their kids, it's their family, it's their immediate circles, and it's really kind of stepping up that consciousness as a whole. You have so much power that you're not even accessing right now. That is the kind of results we want to see you create, being that woman, being that example. And then in that space, we create your systemized and automated client attraction, going through the Facebook ads, going through the landing pages, going through the how to actually set up the funnel. And we even get together to do that. So essentially the process as a whole is 16 weeks, 4 months. You get lifetime access to the online membership portal. There is a lot of changes in technology that you need to keep up with, a lot. So just know that the program runs for 4 months, but the access is for life. And that allows you to have access to all the updates that come with the technology as well. You get throughout the 16 weeks, the weekly power hour. This is where we get together on video feed, really get to know each other as a team, as a group, and just feed off each other with ideas, with answers to questions, with solutions to problems, with making sure that you're on track, inspired, and set yourself up for a phenomenal week by week, so you know how much progress that you're making. And then monthly, you'll have a one-to-one. This is essential. We want to make sure that you are getting the results. This is not a case of pull you in and put you into a process that will never see you again. The results are why we do this. This is hand on heart, the best process that we could have ever put together, and we're constantly looking how we can improve at. And that, to see you go through it and to see the answers that you are, sorry, just another question coming through, to see the answers and the results that you're creating for yourselves, that's everything. And then the emotional reset is something that I take you through personally as well. This is what changed the game for me. So the emotional release reset is basically getting rid of all this kind of baggage, is all this stuff that you've been bringing to the table. It gets rid of all of your fear, gets rid of all of your anger, sadness, guilt that's been built up over time, and really resets you. That in itself changes the game completely. And that's the position that we want you in. We want you ready to springboard into these results. Again, your mindset is everything. And then your monthly planner. What do you need to be doing month by month, step by step, to make sure that that happens? So, yep, that's the process. Again, there's going to be plenty of time for you to ask questions about the process itself. But the 3-day live event is where we get together and smash out some work. So in this time, not only do we do some massive mindset breakthroughs, we do some enormous stuff on strategy in the business, so that you actually have people right there holding your hand as you go through it. As soon as you've mastered this stuff, it's easy. When you're sat on the first side of it thinking, oh shit, what the hell am I looking at here? And then having this go wrong and this go wrong, it's frustrating, it's hard going. And that's when most people just think, oh, fuck it, it doesn't work for me, and they leave it. And I promise you, having been through that myself, that everything is fixable, everything is figure-outable, as Marie Forleo would say. But that's why we get together. And in all honesty, it's one of my favorite times of this year, having this group of amazing women that you can see now. Oh, it was just incredible, like seeing their breakthroughs, seeing the connections they've made, seeing them meet up with each other afterwards, and just make that connection. It's just phenomenal. Having your team around you, a team of people who are aligned to what you're doing, who get it, who celebrate your wins as much as they kind of pick you up with your losses. It's a phenomenal thing. And the more I hang around with people who are striving, who are pushing for more and creating more and always looking to expand themselves, the more naturally that comes for me as well. Be very careful with who you spend your time with. And being in a group like this of really high vibe, incredible women is absolutely essential if you want to make your progress as fluid and as effortless as possible. And I know that it sounds like I'm overdoing it, but I promise you that is the feedback that we get. Seeing these women really take it to the next level is just the best reward ever. It makes all the late nights, early mornings, and hard fucking work worth every single second. And I want the same for you guys in your businesses as well. So that's the 3-day live event. And I want to give you a little bit of feedback of the ladies. So Fran is an absolute powerhouse. She does some crazy cool stuff. And yes, she ran a challenge. This was her first funnel that she launched. She ran a challenge and she had over 1,400 women. And I believe from the call the other day, we're actually on, I think it was 1,850, which is just ridiculous amounts of numbers coming to her and to her challenge. And then just growing her Facebook following and everything else. So yeah, the possibilities are endless. Again, it's just getting those leads to you. I know you're magic. I know you know your shit. I know you change lives. So let's get the people in front of you whose lives you can change. And again, Fran is doing exactly that. I can't wait for her to launch her retreat in Bali in a few months' time. Fee's been with me for a while, and she is absolute sensation. She is one of my ideal clients. Whenever I write copy, I kind of direct it to her, because I love to work with people like her. She really steps out of her comfort zone. She's implemented so much stuff with funnels, with tech, with mindset, all of it. And she is achieving some absolutely sensational things. Again, it's who are the action takers, who are going to really implement, who's really going to run with what we do. And that is just an absolute pleasure. So that's some of our amazing clients, in just a few of them. And then finally, Emma. In a tangible world, she's doubled her revenue and halved operating expenses in the last 6 months. Now, Emma is a fucking powerhouse. She takes massive action. And the biggest shift that I've seen in her, and she's kind of expressed it in this as well, is her certainty. It's her really owning that for herself. And I promise you, that is where the magic really comes in. That's where you become that attraction for other people. When you can see that in somebody else, that is very, very, very appealing, because that's what we're all after. And now I see the way that she's bringing people on board left, right, and center, filling group programs. She's just, she's just in flow, and it's fucking spectacular. So be like Emma. Take the action, do what's required, stretch yourself. When we first spoke, she was really, really stretched in the business. And that was because there was just a few gaps missing, and there was a few things in her mindset, in her knowledge, that just needed putting together. It was nothing to do with her skill, just like it never is. You're fucking amazing at what you do and the results you create. But the fact is, you don't know what you don't know. So it's filling those gaps. And I just want you to connect with what's possible for you. Be like Emma. Take the action. Stretch yourself. Take the action. Put the work in. Get those massive results and change people's lives. So the interview process is how we'll go from here. We'll post a link up. I'll post a link up onto the Facebook page now. So go to Facebook/Life Empowerment Project. We'll post up a link there, and I'll also put it in the link box afterwards. We're just having some trouble posting the link up at the moment. But essentially, we have chats. This is not a process for everybody, just like I don't recommend that you work with everybody. We want to know if we're the right fit. Is your business something that we can work with to help get results? Are our visions aligned? Are our values aligned? And we want you to do your due diligence as well. What do you need to know about us to know that when you follow us, you'll get the answers that you need? We are absolutely dedicated to providing results to those people who are right for us. When you commit to us, we commit to you, and it's a done deal. The results just flow. But again, it's not for everybody. So the interview process is for us to assess what kind of results we can create by working together. It's to understand your model and your mindset, just like we did with Emma. Fill those gaps in for the maximum return. You don't know what you don't know. Get the answers and make it easier for you. And it's an opportunity as well for you to ask questions. You're going to have a short conversation before we would do like a full interview anyway. So we'll understand whether or not we're the right fit. We'll understand whether energetically we're the right fit, whether what you need in the business is the right fit. And again, whether our values align. It's absolutely essential. We're not for everybody, just like you're not for. And I really suggest that you implement this process in your own business as well. So are we the right fit? The interview process. The links will go up on the page, and the links will go up on here afterwards as soon as we can just fix this little issue. But essentially, we'll be sending you the links anyway, personally as well. So any final questions? Chuck them up into the chat box while I go through the question. Now, Sandra, I wanted to leave this till the end because it's an amazing question that I know will give some huge value. But Sandra asked, how do you keep existing clients engaged and as ongoing users? So my business is growing consistently, but I have people who are buying the product, show interest, but then don't react to our follow-up. How can I overcome that and keep them coming back? And I thought that was just a phenomenal question that I know will add a lot of value to a lot of you. So yeah, the client engagement is absolutely essential, because obviously the idea is that you don't just draw the client in for one offer. You draw the client in and provide so much value that they just keep coming back. So the question, well, firstly, I would love for you to ask Sandra, and for all of you, you have a database of clients. If you started your online marketing, you already have a database, whether it be an active campaign or elsewhere. If not, you'll have a social media following. If not, you'll have people who you know who are your ideal clients already. As you build those lists up and that following up, ask them what they want. It's all well and good us thinking that we know their wants. Remember way back on one of the first slides, what do they want versus what do they need? It's all well and good us knowing what they want. But if you can ask them, get their specific answers, and then deliver that in the best way possible, then you're going to have business always. So feel free to ask, really humble yourself. You don't know all the answers. You don't know what's going on for them all the time. And the majority of us, we serve people who we used to have that problem. And what we do is we talk from the space of now having the solution, because we know what we actually needed back then. They don't know that yet. So specifically asking them what they want allows them to really, for you to deliver that. Remember when I said about the time management manifesto? I didn't think of that. I asked the group what they wanted, and that was what they fed back. That was their biggest struggle. Consistently across the board, I had like 10 answers of the same thing. Like 10 out of 12 answers was time management. So I created that, and it's brought us in like 1,200 leads into the business. Ask. There's nothing better than asking your audience what they want and what they need. They'll give you the best answers. And then a question that I ask myself all the time is, how can I best serve this person? what's going to be the best thing for them. So say, for instance, it's always, you always need to have a next offer ready. However they've worked with you. Again, I suggest having a set methods of people working with you, because you want to create the result, not just an hourly based service. But always have the next offer ready, because it's much easier for people to continue working on with you who they know have got who they know they'll get results with, than it is for them to go elsewhere. So it's much easier for them to continue than it is for them to look elsewhere, if you can just step up and provide their next level that they need. So what will entice them? What result is it that they want next? Really tune into that stuff. And then, yeah, the question of how can I best serve this person? Just keep it simple. What's going to be best for them? So for us, for our 4-month program, the retreat is a new thing that we've put in. That was a question. How can I best serve them? And I can tell you the number of people who are now flowing on to the next levels and stuff like that is going to massively increase, because we're serving better. When people know you have the answers that they need, all you need to do is position it right. But I will say there's one final element. You need to ask. Get them on the phone. If they've been an existing client, you have their details, get them on the phone, connect them with their desire, connect them with the results that they want to create, and connect them with a solution that they need, that they don't have yet. And then it's just a no-brainer for them to continue working with you. So yeah, have a set system. What's the next step? What's the next logical thing that they need to get the next level of answers? So I hope that makes sense, Sandra. I'd love to hear your feedback if you have any follow-up questions or anything else. So, any final questions before we pull this masterclass, which is now run for 90 minutes instead of 60, to a close? You guys have been amazing. I really appreciate all the questions that you've asked. And I'd love to see if we're the right fit to help you to get some really big results. Again, it's about being the right fit. It's not a pressured phone call. It's understanding who's the right fit, how can we work together, and how is it best going to serve you, and how is it best going to fulfill our mission if we do decide that we're a great fit to work together. Results, results, results. That is the most important thing for us. So, is there any final questions? I can see one question is being typed now, so I'll just hang on and wait. And look, guys, I also want to say, join us in the transformation space. There's a link up in there to book your strategy call, your discovery call as well, and we'll make sure that those links are delivered to you guys as well, and we'll be in touch. Make sure that you get the answers that you need. Make sure that you stretch yourself. If you have further questions, the transformation space is your place. We do live videos in there very, very often. Please ask any questions, and we are more than happy to provide massive solutions that are going to be huge value. But if you want to go deeper, honestly, if you want to get some huge results and make sure that this is your year, the Awakened Entrepreneur is the way to go. 4 months of us working closely together, making sure you get those results, holding your hand, answering your questions as they come up, and making sure that you hit those massive goals that you have and change as many lives as possible. So that's it. No more questions are coming through. Thank you very much for you guys for coming along. Thank you very much for the team for helping out in the running of this. And just thank you for all your questions. You guys have been amazing. I hope you've got some huge value, and I will speak to you very soon. See ya.